Hello and welcome to the Bullish G channel. On this video, we will talk about how to be on the right side of the market and how, because there's many ways to do that. So we're gonna pick the best way possible that I believe exists, and we're gonna execute it. The way we're gonna do this is I will explain how to do it. Then we will backtest it for a couple of, trades on a random pair that we will choose on a random number generator. Okay, now let's start. The way that I will do it is, depending on what time frame I'm on, I will pick the highest to lowest time frame that we're gonna use. For example, in this for this example, I mean, my opinion, you should either be using the daily for the absolute highest time frame you're using, or the weekly, just depending on your time frames. Let's just say I want to use 3 time frames for my strategy. Okay, let's just say I want to use the 5 minute, the 30 minute, and the 5 hour, right? Those are my 3 time frames that I usually use. If you wanna, have the same formula, the same logic that I use for these time frames, just multiply your entry time frame times 6 and multiply your entry time frame times 60. Okay, that gives you your middle time frame and your higher time frame. Okay, if you want to use it, for example, if you want to use the 1 minute as your entry time frame, you multiply times 6 and that's 6 minutes, and then you multiply times 60 and equals 60 minutes or 1 hour. Okay, so if you want to use it like this. If you don't, it's up to you, but this is the way that I use it. Sometimes I don't use certain time frames. For example, let's just bring it back. Sometimes I don't use, I don't know, the 30-minute time frame because the trend is so strong. Let's just say on the daily, we are very, very bullish to the point that price doesn't wanna create fractals on the 30-minute time frame. Let's just imagine this is the 5 hour. Let's just put it this way. This is the 5 hour, right? And it's creating the right the right moves. It's pulling back to the EMAs or whatever. I will explain later. But on the 30-minute time frame, you don't see that often. Why? Because the trend is just so strong that it doesn't want to show up on that. In that case, I will instead do something similar between these 2 time frames. For example, if the 5 hour is setting up, and I know that it's not happening on the 30-minute, and the way that I will realize this is when the move looks smaller than usual. So instead of looking, I don't know, let's just put it like this. The move, instead of looking like more developed on this time frame like this, maybe it just looks like this, right? Which is still fine. But then I realized that this may belong to another time frame, right? And I will instead go from a 5 hour, instead of going to the 30-minute time frame. I'll go for a 1 hour. Why? Because it will be my entry time frame now, right? Divided by 6, basically. It's divided by 5, but it's the same thing. Okay, so that's what I will do. Okay, now let me explain the strategy. First of all, what we're gonna do is we're gonna use 3 time frames for now. Well, 4 actually, but 3 main time frames. We're gonna use, like I said, the 5-minute time frame. Let me just make it better, prettier, however it's called. The 5-minute time frame, the 30-minute time frame, and the 5-hour time frame. These are the main time frames. Okay, we're gonna use another time frame, which is gonna be the daily. And let me tell you, this is for me the way to make the absolute best out of your strategy, because you're just bullish on everything. For this example, we will use only bullish examples, not because it doesn't work bearish or anything. It's just easier to understand that way. So so you can see only one side. If you wanna see it the other way, you can just flip it on your chart if you want, or if you have no problem seeing it on the bearish side, I also don't, but I think it's just easier to see the same, to see the same example, so it looks the same, whatever, Okay, the way that I will do this is I want momentum. I don't only want bullishness, I want momentum. Okay, so let's start on the 5 hour time frame. On the 5 hour time frame, I want to see a lots of momentum. And the way you're gonna see this is you're gonna see the price is gonna be maybe sideways, or maybe even going on the wrong direction, bearish. And what we will wait for is lots of strength coming in due to the EMA 200 being below. The EMA 200 being below shows me that there is lots. I mean, that we have switch trends. The EMA 200, as you can see in these examples. Oh, sorry. In these examples, you can see that once we turn bullish, the EMA 200, which is this one, gets below price, and also gets far away from price. Why? Because we're very bullish. So once we start switching trends, you'll see that the EMA 200 starts getting closer. And then when we completely switch, let me see if it happens right over here. It will be a nice example. Okay, in this example, it's not gonna turn up, but you'll see that when price turns down, the EMA 800 will get below above price, right? Now, this is why we want the EMA 200, just to be on the right side of the market. This is what it shows me. Okay, now we will also use the EMA 50 because it shows you a bit more of momentum. Not only that, we will use it on the entry time frame, but I will talk to you about that later. And then we will use the most important EMAs, maybe not more important, but they're crucial, absolutely crucial. The EMA 10 and the EMA 20. This shows you the ultimate momentum. This will be these two EMAs right over here, the red one and the orange one. This shows you when price has the most momentum. Okay, not only on the right direction, but we're also with the most strength, momentum, and all that. Okay, this is what it shows you. Okay, we will wait for price to come down into either of these EMAs, either of the two, the 10 or the 20. Okay, only these two. And when price pulls back, we will go into a lower time frame. Okay, which will be the 30-minute time frame. Okay, what remember that we're gonna play with this. Sometimes the 5 hour will be the only time frame that is giving us this, because we were looking for the same thing on the 5 hour and on the 30-minute time frame. We're looking for price to, I mean, all the EMAs to be in order. Let's just put it this way. We want exactly this, and price to pull back into one of these EMAs, either the 10 or the 20. There is no science in this. It is exactly the same that we're looking for. So as I told you, sometimes it will be so much strength on the 5 hour that on 30-minute it will not manifest. It will just go high and high and high and high. We won't see the retracement we need. So that's why instead of going into the 30-minute, we'll go into the 1 hour, because that will be, that makes sense here between your higher time frame or middle time frame and your entry time frame. It will be the same for this. We go from 5 hour to 1 hour to enter on the 1 hour. Okay, but if we see something on the 30-minute, we'll enter. Okay, now on the 5-minute time frame, this looks a bit ugly. One sec, I hate this. Okay, on here. Okay, it's perfect. Now on the 5-minute time frame, we'll see that price looks a bit like this. If we zoom in, once price pulls back on the middle time frame, you have to zoom in over here. It looks something like this. Price will do this, and we will enter on a high, then retracement. When we enter on the break of this, we'll be inside a range like this, and we enter on one of these. Okay, so this is the way I will do it. And now we go into the most important step. In my opinion, it's a game changer. Okay, we have these 3 time frames, right? I wish I could drag them better. We have to put them together like Legos. Okay, one sec. Just imagine this is well done. All right. Now, I gotta add that on these time frames, on these two time frames, the EMAs have to be in order, meaning the 200, which is the biggest, has to be below, and the on the lowest EMA will be the 10, has to be above. So 250, 20, and 10. Same thing here, 250, 20, and 10. And here, the only way we'll use the EMAs is that we just want the EMA 50 to be around the entry when we want to enter. We don't want it to be way above or something like that. If it's below, it's okay, but by the time we're entering, we want the EMA 50 to be around price entry, and also price has to dip below the EMA 50 before we enter, right? Just like this. Price comes down and EMA 50 comes above, and by the time we're entering, the EMA 50 is around price entry, even if it's above, just has to be right there. Okay, now the most important one, I keep saying the most important, everything is important, but okay, the daily time frame. What we will do is we just make sure we're on the right side of the market. We don't have to be trending hard and crazy. We just have to be out of trouble. We can actually still be bearish, but we have to be out of trouble. What do I mean by this? We don't want to be in a sideways market. Imagine being bullish on the 5 hour. Imagine being bullish on the 5 hour, but you're inside this range. Like, let me just redo it. Imagine being on this market, okay? You're on the 5 hour and you think, oh, this looks amazing. This looks beautiful. But then you go into the daily and it looks just like this. When are you going to get positioned? Because, okay, let me just make it even better. This doesn't really look like that. It looks kind of like this. Sideways market looks this ugly. So how are you going to get positioned in these markets? Like you'll be trading this. There is no space really. If you really you do the example on the live market, or not even live market, just try it on demo or backtesting. You'll see that even though you're bullish on these time frames, have you ever seen that when you're bullish on certain time frames and you don't get no wins, you still get losses? I mean, how is that possible? It's because you're likely to be trading on a sideways market on a higher time frame, and we're gonna make sure we're not on the daily, right? Okay, so this is the whole thing. Okay, on the 5 hour, I just make it like this. Let's go step by step. Okay. Okay, just imagine it's perfect. On the 5 hour, what we will do is we look for the EMAs to be surfing, EMA 10 and 20. We want to be above the EMA 200, and everything has to be in order. All the EMAs stacked up, 250, 20, and 10. Price has to be pulling back into the 10 or 20. Once that happens, we go into a lower time frame or middle time frame, which will be the 30-minute time frame. We want the same thing, exact same thing, after the fact of the EMAs pulling back. Of price pulling back into the EMAs. So right here, we want to look for this in these areas, after the fact. So we'll be looking at that right here, right here, right here, right here, and then right here, right? This is what we will look for on the 30-minute time frame. Once that is happening, we look for price to be, we zoom in, will be in this area. Price will look like this, more detail. We know with more highs, lows, all that. Price will pull back. At this point, we are inside a range. We wait for the EMA 50 to be above. And by the time we enter, we have to be right at price entry. Around that, doesn't have to be perfect. But on the daily, we just make sure that we are out of trouble. Again, we have to be out of the sideways market. And I didn't even show you the example, but here we're still on a sideways market. What I will wait for, just to be out of it. You can draw this box, something like that. We just want to be out of it. We want to be in strong accumulation. This is just accumulation or sideways. We want to be on a big trending market, not necessarily like this. Actually, I shouldn't say trending market. Just want to be again out of trouble, okay, and clear, because when we are out of this range, out of the sideways market, we start seeing some clarity. We have space to work with. Doesn't mean we'll always win, but this is the best way that you can optimize your entries. Okay, now that is done, let me start. We're gonna backtest. We're gonna backtest the strategy. And okay, let's start. What we will do now is I have my watch list here of random stuff. What we will do is we'll go into a random number generator. I'm gonna generate a number between 1 and 40. It gives me 20, which means we're gonna use the number 20. So let's count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Was it actually 7? Let me count again. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay. 21, 22, 23, 24, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30. 31, 32. Okay, this is 40. Oh wait, it was 20, right? Yeah, I'm stupid. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay. This is a stock, so we have to switch the time frames. I'm just gonna take the next forex pair because it's a different methodology for when it comes for the time frames. It's different, so I'm just not gonna do stocks right now. I'll just take the next one, okay? Which is AUD USD. It is the same terminology, by the way, when it comes to stocks, but we don't have the same hours. There's the forex market is open 24/7, so this is what it makes sense for everything else like Bitcoin, I mean cryptos, all the markets that are open most of the time, for the majority of the time. Like futures is open a lot of time, crypto, forex, but stocks is different. Okay, so the time frames that we use is gonna be different. It's not because it doesn't work or just because I don't want to take it. Like, no, it's just because it changes, and I will explain on a new video. Now, we picked a AUD USD, which is nice. What we'll do is I'll make the this whole thing, this graph flat, so we don't see anything. We don't cheat. Let me delete all the drawings just in case, and we'll go back in time. Okay. Oh wait, we're in 2012. This is way too, you know. Okay, I deleted whatever backtest I was doing, and we'll go to 2018, 2018. Maybe a bit more recent. Okay. Now we are in this market. What do first thing you see, what do you think? I think we're in a great place, and it's great to go into the lower time frame at the moment, like the 5 hours. This is the first step. You just want to be out of trouble. Okay, we don't even have to be fully bullish. For example, if I spawned right here, it wouldn't be a nice place for me. Why? Because we're still bearish here. We're just making highs. This can easily turn back down like this. This for me is not great price action. Even here, maybe it is not even that good. Well, where it turns really good is around here or around here. We still can turn bearish, but at the moment, I think we're in a great place. Okay, we're coming from a reaccumulation right here, and this for me is the perfect example. This is the perfect way that I want to turn from bearish to bullish. Price makes a couple highs. At this point, I don't know if price will turn back down, and price does turn back down right here, but then it reconfirms that it wants to come up, almost breaking this high. This is a key moment because it may just come back down, but for me this is like a great way that we turn bullish. Okay, by reconfirming after a couple highs that we want to come up. Okay, let's go into the 5-hour time frame. It's taking a while. Okay, it did. Now what we will do is we come over here. We're almost at the price entry. Like I promise you, there's probably an entry right here if we turn high. Okay, let's go into the 30-minute time frame because we do see something right here. right here we see nice price action. Looks a little bit small, which is what I'm talking about to you. Like we might use the 1 hour for entry instead of the 5 minute, if I don't see something like if this looks too small for its time frame. But at the moment we're not gonna touch anything. We just wait for price to move. We're currently trending on the 5-hour time frame. Right now we're just starting to see some bullishness on the 30-minute time frame, and there was no entry actually on the 5 hour. We're trending on basically every single time frame almost. This looked great, but I like it to go sideways again. This is the 30-minute time frame. It's touching the 10. I don't think I will have entered over here. It looks way too small for its own time frame. So I'm just look at this. It's just a W. Maybe it's a sign. But okay, I still don't want to enter here. Again, it looks too small. I think it's just gonna chop. But right here, I see bit of a high. So again, I will not enter. It will have been more convincing. Is if this if you make like a longer sideways on my entry, something like this, and then it did exactly this just over here, like on lower zone, like around here. And for me that is important, but it did not happen. 1 second. Okay, I was checking something. Okay, now let's just probably I'm gonna stay on the 5 minute time frame. Maybe something happens over here and I want to enter, but I don't think so. No. Okay, now we're talking. Now it's going a bit more sideways, but I still want to see something something of importance. We see that we already went below the EMA 50. This was barely anything, and this just shows me that it's not ready, right? So let's continue. Now we're down below the 50, which is great, but we're dipping up a bit too much. We may go into the 50 on the middle time frame, so that that invalidates the trade. Okay, we're probably on the 50 in the middle time frame, which we will avoid at this point. Maybe on the 5 hour we're creating something. I'm not sure, so let's go check. And we are. Price is coming down onto the 10 and 20 on the 5 hour time frame. Again, this looks a bit too small for the time frame, and this is very common when we're sort of on the right direction on every single time frame. We'll see that sometimes price is too strong, so it will not create opportunities on my 30-minute time frame. But let's just go into the 1 hour because maybe we see an entry right over there. Okay, this looks decent. Let me just check. We're close to. I mean, right now it's the midnight. So basically, the time the Asian opens, the spread is super high right now. So we will wait. Okay, it looks nice. I'll wait for a retracement down, and I'll enter on the break. Okay. If it even happens and we will miss it, I will not take this. Looks way too crazy, but I'll enter the break of this. Okay. If this happens, I'll enter. Wait a second. Let me just check the 30 minute. I mean, this is happening on the 30 minutes, so we can take an entry right over there. Right. Okay. Perfect. Let's delete this. Okay, we're actually on right here. It's nice. We have two highs and very small low right here. So I'll place my stop loss right over here. This the way that I will do it if this was too small, which it is in my opinion. So I'll just take this area and I am in the trade. Wait, can we do something like this? I don't really know how to use this, so I'm just gonna skip it. Been a while since I used this, so let's just trade it. We're in the trade basically. Okay, I didn't mention the management, but right now is the right time to do it. The way that I will manage this trade is I will place my stop loss, at a key point, usually at the low. But since this low is way too, way too high, way too brief, I'll place it right over here. And the management will be when price gets to 1 to 1, or even a bit below 0.7 to 1 to 1, I'll place my stop loss to break even. And right now we are at 1.3, 1.37, so it's perfect for break even. Now I place my stop loss to break even, and we'll just do a little like this. We are broken even. Okay, if price comes back to the enter, we are completely out. If price keeps moving, we are in the trade still. Okay, price is moving. We will take partials around 4 RR when price really shows me like serious strength. We're doing a high risk reward strategy with a low win rate, which is the it goes hand in hand with a high RR. We partialed right here for RR, which I said we're gonna take partials at this point. I'll take a +2 at this area, and I will keep it running. Right now, the stop loss is still at this level, the break even basically. So this trade is risk free, right? If it goes to break even, we're out of the trade, simple as that. If it keeps moving, we will go and take more partials, right? Okay, let me just first goes 2, and I will take every partial that I have. I'll set it here like first trade. Let me just put a T. It looks kind of ugly, but whatever. Okay, first trade +2, and I'll partial. Okay. Okay, look. The thing is, now price has done a huge move to the upside. What I will do is I'll move my break even to this area, because it's like the next key area in my opinion. If price comes below, it is not worth it to keep it moving, to keep it down here. So I'll move it to up here. Right now, let's do this and wait for the next partial. I would like to take a next partial at around 7 to 8 RR. This is the way I usually do it. So let's just wait till price gets here, and maybe we partial way above after this. Okay, at this point I like to move this right here. Why? Because for me, price has created tons and tons of moves to the upside, so I'd like to move it and secure more profit, which is at around 3.94. Actually, I didn't mention how much that I took here. I took just 50% of my trade, right? Now I'll take like around 30%. In the next ones, if it keeps going up, I'll take 15% each, which equals 100, right? 50% plus 30% plus another 30%. 20%. I'll take 20%. Okay, so it's 50 first partial, 30% the next partial, which equals 80, and then 10% for my next one, and then 10% for my next one, which equals 100%. Okay, 50, 30, 10, and 10. Okay, we'll do that. But if it comes back here, we'll take the full 50% that is left, because we only have taken 50%. Okay, let's just wait and see if it wants to break up, or we want to take partials above. Okay, the way that I will do this is right now we are at 7.94. We still haven't taken those partials. At 7 or 8, what I will do is I place my, not this because this is the full trade, but I'll place something right here. If price wants to come down here, I'll take my my partial, like my 30% partial, and if it keeps moving up, I'll keep it. I'm gonna be dragging it. Okay, let's take out the calculator just to make it more simple. Let's just do this. Okay, we have moved up. Okay, I'll move it like this, and now that price wants to keep moving up, I'll just hold it here, wait for the next candle. But if price comes down here, I'll take my my partial. If it doesn't, I'll keep it moving. Okay. Okay. Price wants to come back. Yes or no? Okay. Price keeps moving. I'll set it right here. Okay. Give it some space right over here, and we'll wait. Okay. Okay. We got into this area, which means that we have two partial. So it's at 8 RR. We got to take the next partial. So I think it's something like 2 RR. Okay, so 8 uh, multiplied by 0.3 equals 2.4. So we take the next partial plus 2.4, right? This is the first trade. We'll keep it moving, and I'm gonna move my total, my out of the trade stop loss, break even, whatever. I'll set it here, and we'll keep it moving till it doesn't wanna keep coming up. Okay, we got out completely of the trade. We had still 20% on the trade, so 5.2 multiply times 0.2 equals 1. So plus 1. Was it actually 1? 1.04. We'll just keep it like this, okay? And we set a total of, one sec, 5.4, which is the total that we won from this trade. It was a total of 9.4, but with partials is 5.4. Okay, this is the first trade. It was a very nice trade. We'll keep it moving though. We'll keep it waiting for the next trade. Now, let's assess where we're at right now. Okay, we are still on the bullish market on the 5 hour. We came from this area. It looks like price wants to retrace at this point. Why? Because in the 30-minute time frame, we already pulled back into the 50. The way that we usually enter is right here. Price pulls back into the 10 and 20. We trade. In this case, I don't know what happened. Let's just see. Okay, it will be this probably. If we took any trades, it will be right here. But EMA 50 didn't pull back enough, so we probably wouldn't have taken anything. Price now pulls back way below the 50 into the 200, which usually correlates with touching the 50 on the 30-minute time frame. So yeah, we wouldn't have done anything really, and if we did, it would have been a break even. But honestly, it didn't look as good. And now that we see that price pull back into the 50 on the 30-minute time frame, we have to go up on time frames, and I will assume the price wants to pull back into the 10 or 20 on the 5 hour, right? Okay, price didn't fully pull back, which I assume that yeah, I go into the 1 hour just to see if there's an entry. But no, it looks ugly. We want it to be clean. Just look at the difference right here on this entry. Price is clearly showing me an area, right? It's clearly showing me an up, down. Actually, it could have been an entry, but we missed it, I believe. So that's why I enter over here. But look how clean this move down looks. There's enough space between everything. It doesn't look chunky. And if you look here, this looks fucking horrible, right? If you look at the difference, just compare side by side. This looks like this, like it's just sideways market, but way too sideways for me. Then we don't even enter through a proper high, low, and high. Like this has broken just like this, it's just not there. And in comparison, you see this one, and it just looks like this, right? It looks much prettier. So you don't have to, you don't have to compare. There's no comparison. This looks clearly better, but I invite you to back this so you can see for yourself, how much better it looks like. Maybe for you it doesn't look like that yet, but I think just using common sense you can tell it does. Now price barely touched 10, and I believe that's not really a problem, but I'm not sure we're gonna see something we like on the 30-minute time frame. We'll see though. Maybe there's something. since price not even pulling back in the 5 hour, I believe it may not want to pull back also in the 30 minute. It may just go up or break down, and we have that. We a price breakdown, which means for me we have to go look again on the 5 hour. At this moment, nothing I will do. Why? Because this high is just very near to this high. It doesn't tell me that it wants to keep coming up, so I'll completely avoid this area. And okay, and now price has touched the 10 and the 20. We go into the 30-minute time frame. On the 1 hour though, we didn't saw anything worth trading. Maybe this area, but honestly I'm not quite a fan. It looks kind of choppy. On this area in the 30-minute time frame, we have pulled back into 10 and 20. I'd like to see more sideways, but I will see how it moves on this, inside the range from the 5-minute time frame. What time is this? It looks like we're around the end of session, which we are. Right now, we are, in the middle of it. So I'll completely avoid this area, wait and see what happens. Looks like we're pulling back into the 200, which means we're probably close to the 50 on the 30-minute time frame. Okay, we pull back into the 50. For me, this is okay. It just is, very by tiny bit touch the 50. It can still pull up, which means I'm going to the 5-minute time frame. But we don't see anything worth trading. I want to see a retracement, and maybe I'll buy the break of it. This is way too okay. This looks a bit tricky, but I'll take the break of it if it's there. Okay. I think it might pull back still. So let's just wait and see. Okay, it pulls back. I'm still interested in this. Let me just take a look at the daily. Yeah, the daily is still going crazy. So it's looking a bit choppy, but let's just see how it moves. At this point, I'm being a bit more careful. Price is about to break this area. If we enter, we're in the trade, but my stop loss moves at this area. Why? Because I want to make it smaller, and because this for me is the new key level. If you go into even lower time frames, you'll see that this is a good level. So because of this retracement. So I'll place it right here. Move it. Okay, we're in the trade right now. Okay, what we will do now is we'll look for a one-to-one. Okay, this is a good place to place it. Once it gets over here, we move the stop loss to break even. Okay, let's see. And okay, it didn't got there. It got close. I thought it did, but we have to take the loss right over here. So we'll add trade number 2 equals a -1. Okay, it got really close to it. 0.94. I don't think I will have broken even on the on a live account, so there's no point in saying yeah it was close to the one. It was not. I mean it was, but for me it's still way too soon. Rules are rules. It has to be here, especially for the sake of this video. Okay, I actually have to put number 2, and we break down. Okay, so we are positive still 4.4. Let's just move it closer. And at this point on the 30-minute time frame, we're chopping. It's not worth trading. Actually, it was already kind of choppy, but good enough for me. It works, but it's way too choppy. Okay, price pulls up, comes down into the 10. Maybe there was a good entry at the end of the day. Yeah, not really. Maybe here, but maybe here, but nah, it's too sauce. At this point, price has gone sideways for a long time, so I wouldn't have traded this. Now we're below the 50. I'll wait for an entry, even though I don't think I'll see it. Okay, now we really have pulled back to the below the 50. Now we can actually wait for a nice setup. It didn't look convincing back then. Okay, now I'll take the break of this, even though it was quite quick. So for me, it tells me it'll probably keep going down. We probably won't get filled. Okay, we're close. Okay, we're close. No, we're not. Okay, and we just keep moving down. Okay, now it still can pull up, but okay, now it has touched 50 convincingly. So I will not consider it. It's just chopping. right there. So let's go into 5 hour because it means that it's probably pulling back. I don't see much strength going on here. So yeah, bad luck. It pulled up. But yeah, there was look kind of weird over here. One sec. Yeah, I mean this whole thing is it's not clear. It doesn't. It's very brief at this moment. Maybe not even a trade on the 1 hour because it didn't properly pull back into the 5 hour. So yeah, nothing really to see here. Okay. Yeah. So no. What we will wait now for is a pullback into the 10. Sorry. Yeah, into the 10 on the 30-minute time frame. Okay. Okay, we see it, we have it, and we'll wait for a trade on the 5-minute time frame. Okay, we went below on the 50, which is great. We have a pull up, need a pullback, and we enter the high of it. Simple as. No, how ChatGPT will say, no fluff. Okay. Okay, nothing to see here. It breaks down. Probably closing into the 20. Yeah. Now we wait for a pull up. Okay, we have it. I hope we didn't have an entry before. I'll enter the break of this. I like this, even though it looks very quick and risky, but I mean it's part of we have a low win rate strategy that gives us a lot when we win. So we're already, for the most part, on the right side of the market. Then this is, in my opinion, the most difficult thing to do, the entry. But to me, this is good. This is valid. So we wait for an entry. We get it. We almost get stop loss here, but I just set it right here to give it more space, which we did before the entry. So we'll keep it there, and enter has been right here. Just make it more accurate, and yeah, we wait. We're probably gonna get stopped out, which is normal, but I will still personally take a trade if it goes below. Okay, trade number 3 equals don't find the equal -1. Great. And I'll still enter if it breaks above. Okay. Probably not gonna see it, but if we see it, I'll enter. Waiting to make my stop loss lower. I'm just waiting for that. I see it's moving up. I'll pick the next one. Okay, we don't see it. Probably getting closer to the 50. No, we're not actually. But this looks starting to look ugly. Let's see if there's anything worth trading. Okay, this is nice. Okay, this looks great. I'll enter right over here. And if I take another loss right here, I will step out of this full range. If it creates another opportunity here, I'll completely step back. I don't see why I should keep trading. Price has surfed properly into the 20, has interacted with price enough to the point it tells me it might want to keep going. Okay, now let's enter. Pull up, pull up, pull back, pull up, pull back, pull up, break of it, enter. The reason we didn't enter in this area is because we're way too far to the 50. As I said, we want to be right at the 50. Price pulls back, EMAs stay up, and then we enter just right at the 50. All right, let's play it. If we take another loss, which is completely normal, something that you shouldn't worry about, like it's something that happens on the regular, especially on this type of strategies. You shouldn't worry about it. Okay, let's just play it slowly so we can properly say where we are managing. Okay, for me in this area, at 1, I will set my stop loss to break even, which we actually agreed on. Once price gets to the 1, we set a break even. Actually, I'm gonna give it just a bit of space. If I take the loss, I'll set it as minus 0.1, because I like to give it a bit of space. In this case, it doesn't look like a great move, so I'll just give it just a bit of space because I don't want to miss this opportunity. But it's all technical. It is something that has nothing to do with FOMO, which a lot of people will do. But for me, it's just technical, I give it a bit of space here, which means we might be, still not completely there. It's probably a 0.9 for a real, technical. If we only set it right here, it's probably a 0.9 type of thing. But I move my stop loss here. Let's just secure a break even while still having a chance to catch the trade. And for me, this is 100% gonna touch me into break even, which is fine. Um, at this point, I don't believe price can pull up right over here unless it does now, but it will probably take me out, and it does, which means trade 4 equals, I still don't find equal minus 0.1. Okay, it's perfect. I will still look for an entry because I didn't take a loss here. I'll look for an entry right over here if it shows up. So I'll just set my stop loss right over here. This is way too many trades for now, but it's probably gonna break down. I don't see a reason not to take this. I honestly will take this rake with a stop loss right over here because I want to make it smaller, and I believe this is a decent point right after this one. So I'll just set it right here and wait for a move into break even. Okay, we take a loss. Trade 5 equals -1. Again, this is completely normal for a system like this. If you want to make it a bigger win rate, you can just lower your opportunities and lower your risk reward. So let's just keep moving. We're gonna completely ignore this area, and we'll wait for the next opportunity on the 30-minute time frame. Looks like on the 5-hour we might be about to pull down. It looks like a lot of mess here, and it does pull back into the 10 or 20 on the 5-hour, which means that we can look for an entry on the 1-hour too, even though we're not fully there. But if it goes below the 50, we can, and it does, we can look for an entry. Why? Because we're training hard, and this is very common for that price is not showing its true. I mean, doesn't, like I said, doesn't look like fully a true 5-hour move because it looks too small for the time frame, right? Okay, I'll buy stop the break of this if it comes above. Let's just wait. We're in the trade now. Now we wait to manage. Let me just make it like more accurate. Okay, break even, it's in this area a bit before, but let's just wait for it. We get stopped out, so -1. We take a lot of losses, but again, completely normal, part of the plan. Now we'll wait for a pull up. Okay, we're completely broke down. We have completely broke down, and what I will wait for is now for a 5-hour move, which we got it right over here. Might have lost an opportunity right over here on the 30-minute, right into the 5-minute time frame. We probably could have taken in these areas, maybe here, maybe here, maybe here. This was way too soon, but yeah, let's just wait for the next entry on the 30-minute time frame. I don't know, we will see it. We have it right here. Now we wait for a move to the upside. I'll buy stop the break of this if it shows me some kind of bullishness, with a stop loss right over here because this is too small. So I'll set it right over here. Let's just wait and see if it wants to break up. Okay, now I can move it to here. We're not guaranteed that it will break up. Okay, we have it. It still hasn't broken, but I'll set my stop loss right over here. Even though it has broken down, I still believe this is a nice trade. So we'll just wait and see if it actually is. Okay, we enter right over here. I think it's a good entry. You could have made the case for this area, but I didn't say it. Yeah, let's just move it. So we just have to actually keep it where we set, before we enter. We have to keep the word. Okay, now we have moved above, but I will take my break even right over here. Even right over here, I'll take it. Okay, because it's we set between 0.8 and 1. I'll make my stop loss right over here, which is around minus 0.15. I'll move it off if price comes up. After this, I just want to give it a bit of space to work with. At this point, I'll move it right over here. Price has moved above and off, so I'll just move it. Okay, keeps moving. We are gonna partial at around this area. So let's just wait for that. Do we get it? Okay, if price comes back here, we're completely out of the trade, and we stay at 0, just to make it clear. We're not gonna yeah, let me just take a little partial here. No, we're not taking anything. It's part of the system, right? Moves. Okay, we take a partial right over here. The first partial is almost always, for me at least, at 4 RR. So we have to put it as +2. And the rest of the trade is still, okay, it's actually trade number 5, right? So we have to set it as, wait, so one second. Trade number 5, always miss the number. 5 equals +2. And then every partial, if we get it, we have to add it up in this trade, right? These numbers. Okay, price has been moving up. Still nothing to do. We still have the break even right over here, and we still have to keep partially above, if it even happens. Okay, we don't have no expectations. We don't expect to get anything. All partial around here or above. So let's see if it happens. At this point, honestly, I'll move my stop loss right over here, my break even, so basically out of the trade fully, right over here. Why? Because we've been making new highs, and this is a good place. I don't believe price will pull up after pulling back here in this area. Okay, so let's just wait and see if it actually happens, or if we get a partial above. Okay, price has been moving up, and what I will do now is, right now, right after we got into 7 RR, we didn't pull back at all. So what I will do is make a new area, and I'll be partialing if price gets here. And if it moves above this area, I'll pull it up, and so on and so on. Okay, price has been moving up. I'll move it right here in this area, and we'll partial at 7.8. Keep moving. Okay, keep moving. I'll set it here, and as long as price keeps pulling up, I keep pulling. Okay, I was gonna say I keep pulling my move up. Okay, we partial at 8.13. I'm just gonna round it up. 8 times 0.3, which is the same as last time, 2.4. So plus 2.4. Now we have 4.4, and my full stop loss will be right at this area. I think it gives enough space. Sometimes it's a bit discretionary the way that you set your full stop loss. I just took a break even, sorry, a partial right over here, so I think it's just fine to set it here, between here and here actually. So I'll just move it down here. I want to give it more space because it might be time for price to pull down below the 50, maybe even create another opportunity. Whether I take it or not, I'll see, but it's probably this is probably my last trade for now. So yeah, this could have been an entry, but to me it's a bit ugly because price moved down very aggressively. Not something I will want to consider. As I said, we want to see it. Almost looks pretty. It should look something like this. Maybe, and then we enter, right? But this doesn't look like that. This looks like a move that is probably not gonna fully go. It doesn't have enough rest, in my opinion. But sometimes it does. This can just explode. But as you can see, it's not a comfortable trade. Like, this was a break even. It's just full of choppiness, so it was not worth trading, right? Now let's wait if it touches the stop loss. For me, I'm not comfortable moving it up because this is just such a weak move. It's not something I would want to, move it up here or up here or up here. I just don't feel like it. It's based on experience, of course. It's not as discretionary as you think. It's just that it's just way too ugly. Now I am comfortable. Oh, what did I just do? I'm comfortable moving it up as price has moved up at this area. I'll move it right here. Perfect. Now let me just see if there was an actual opportunity on the 30 minute. I mean, it looked pretty ugly on the 30-minute time frame. Maybe if you wanted to, you could have traded this, which was a great entry, but the 30-minute wouldn't have convinced me. I wouldn't have entered this. Anything over here, I wouldn't have taken. It's just way too ugly. Okay, let's talk about the next partial because we're moving up for way too long. I would have taken a partial right over here, but just for the sake of the video, to be more transparent, let's just take it over here because I didn't tell you anything. So I didn't tell you I'm gonna take a partial over here. So let's just be honest. And if we didn't say it, we know we don't take it. I'm gonna move my full stop loss from here to here, and I'll take a partial right over here, which is at 12. They just rounded up at 12. Okay, 12. 12 multiplied by 0.1, which is what we have left. We still have another 10% left. So let's just move plus 1.2. I'm actually not gonna run it up now because I think it's important. This 0.2, it's 20% of a full loss, so it's important. I'll move my full stop loss here and I'll partial way above. Like I just keep this running way above. Okay, and if it closes right here, I'll take, I'll just take the full position out, and we're out at 7. Let's just put it like that. 7 times 0.1 equals obviously 0.7. Okay, now we have plus 0.7. This is the full position, and we have a total. Let's sum it all up. It's 2 plus 2.4, which equals 4.4, plus 1.1, which equals 5.6, plus equals 5.6. It was it 5.6, 5.6, 5.6 plus, wait, 5.6 plus 0.7, which obviously equals 6.3. Wait, sorry. Now we have a full 6.3. Okay, this is the full trade. Yeah, let's just sum it all up. Let's just zoom. Actually, it was trade number 6, right? Yeah. Okay, it was trade number 6, I believe. Did we even? Okay, we took a loss here then 0.1. Yeah. Okay, this was trade number 6. Okay, sorry for my horrible math skills, but let's just make it fair. Equals, and trade number 7 was. Okay, so we got 7 trades. Let's just sum it all up one by one slowly, so we can fully make it fair. So it was 5.4 plus trade 2 was a -1, so -1. Then we got another, so we got 4 losses. So we do a -4 equals a total of plus 1.4 minus 0.1 because we took one of those, 1.3, and then we took we took 3 losses here. Okay, that's what we do. That's what we did. Plus 6.3 plus 6.3 equals 7.6. So this full thing equals at 7.3. We could have done better, honestly. If you ask me, my mistake was trading way too much in this area. we should have taken just 2 losses. We took 3 and a minus 0.1. I mean, you could have just thought about it. If you took losses here, this kind of belongs to the same area, so you could have just avoided it. If you want to fully avoid these losses, you can just take 1 per area, and instead of taking 3, you will have taken 1 loss. Okay, so this is the way that I will make it, so that we're always in the best position possible. Why? Remember what we did at the start. We just made sure that we were out of trouble right here, and it was honestly it was a coincidence that we didn't have to do anything in this point. Why? Because in this area we wouldn't have traded. This area also wouldn't. Probably, maybe this area I would have been a bit more convinced, but price proved itself better uh, once it broke down, and then it broke up, and coincidentally we were in this area, which is perfect. We're out of trouble. We're actually quite trending in this area. Let's just delete this already, because we already know we were quite trending. We were about here in this area, and then we stepped down into the 30-minute time frame. Let's spawn it back again, 30-minute time frame, and we took these trades. We're just getting position in the best areas possible. We actually traded around 3 areas. It was this one, and this one. It's basically only 3 areas. We should, this video is been going on for a while. How long? 1 hour. Wow, I thought it was way less, but usually this takes it doesn't take as much time. It's just that we're explaining as we go. I myself and you could have probably done 5 times more trades in this same time, but we're explaining right now. You only got a little sample, especially of the daily, because this can differentiate a good trader from a bad trader, because you can be trading on the trend, on the 5 hour, on the 30 minute, on the 5 minute, but if you're still in any area trading within this, you'll get your losses no matter what, because on the 5 hour, instead of looking pretty, and you'll see it, instead of price looking pretty, it will look way more compact. Why? Maybe you're trading in these areas on the 5 hour, it'll look way more compact, because on the higher time frame you're trading within this. So you have to be careful about that. Just make sure you are how do you say, out of trouble. Even on the weekly we're out of trouble, while we are actually moving a bit weird. We're a bit turning bullish just at that moment, but at this point we're like way above. Like, we're on the weekly comparing to the 5 hour time frame. Okay, for me, if you're on the 5 hours as your highest, then you can just check the daily for me. But if you want to also check the weekly, it's fine, but you'll get way less opportunities. And the way that we broke this area, even though I think we're quite bearish, I mean, we can still turn down after, the strength of this is like way too overpowered at this point. We're already turning into the 200, which is good. It's not on the most optimal point, but I mean, we're already we're already turning bullish quite good, because the daily looks so great compared to if it wasn't, if the daily didn't look great, we probably wouldn't have this strength, because everything is a reflection of each other. It's just a different time frame. Okay, so if you ask me, if the 5 hour is looking like this, the daily is looking like this, and the weekly is looking like this, for me it's just absolutely perfect. No problem with that. It will be different if your highest time frame, instead of being the 5 hour, it was the daily. Then we need the weekly to look good too, in my opinion. At that point though, it's a bit different, because you're already on such a high time frame that you might not need the weekly to look stellar, but of course it will be better. The lower you go on your time frames, the more you need to confirm. And actually, if I'm on the 1 hour, I will still check the daily, because ain't no way that you're losing in this market. If the daily it looks good, if you're trading the 1 hour, you will not be an overall loser in these areas. Like this is just impossible, you know. On the contrary, if you're trying to catch the move, you know, you're trending bullish and you're like, okay, let me wait for the change of character, let me wait for the move down, and you know, we catch the big move. You don't need to do this to catch the big move. So don't think don't think about that. Just imagine trying to catch the big move in these areas, trying to catch the top in these areas. Like, it's just impossible. You'll lose time after time after time after time. So yeah, just basically in a summary, just have momentum on everything, and on your very 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 highest time frame, outside of those three time frames we use, depending on what you use, because you might not use three time frames, but just make sure to be out of trouble in your trades. Okay, be out of trouble, be out of the sideways, you know, at least be on some kind of action, moving out of the area, you know. Thank you for watching this video. If you want to learn more, if you want to make your path way easier, make sure to check out my mentorship, my private mentorship. You also get, if you join my mentorship, you'll get a newsletter of the week, everything that happened on the week. You also get an indicator that helps a lot, you know, just identify the trend, especially if you're just starting. You'll see the EMAs, you'll see the ranges, you'll see if price is bullish or bearish, you'll see the consecutive highs. Also, you have ATR, which helps with your stop loss right over here. You can change the colors, everything, and this whole indicator counts as one. So it's great if you don't want to pay, you know, TradingView, because you know TradingView has a limit on indicators. This is what makes it great, which is already good. But yeah, if you want to get it, you can get it individually on bullishg.com. If you don't get it, you don't need this to be profitable. This is just a little help if you want to make your path a little bit faster. If you buy the mentorship, you get every single product that I, you know, that I have to, you know, to make your path easier, and you can also buy them individually. But nonetheless, you don't need that. You can just watch the videos and get yourself profitable, get funded, you know, whatever. Thank you for watching this video. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out.